Archangel Michael says, 45 minutes left. God is trying to reach you and you always skip this. Don't hurt God to skip. Something unexpected is going to happen suddenly. Open immediately. Listen carefully, this is for you and you alone. The air around you has shifted. For weeks, for months, a quiet drumbeat has been sounding just beyond the walls of your ordinary life, and today that drumbeat has grown louder, closer, insistent. It wants your attention. Your name rises like a soft bell in the ears of the heavens. Your heart has been being prepared, small, gentle pullings toward truth, brief moments when a memory brightens with meaning, a sudden kindness that arrives when you need it most. Do not let those small, holy breakings be ignored. They are the way God has been rapping at your door. Right now, the universe has folded a single, sharp moment into your path, a moment that will open things you thought were impossible to open. Archangel Michael stands by, his wings a canopy of steady light, his voice like a shaft of early dawn. He warns lovingly but urgently, there are only 45 minutes. Do not treat this as another message to be postponed. This is not a routine whisper but a summons to rise. Breathe with me now. Slow, even breath. Inhale the truth that you are known. Exhale the fear that you are alone. Feel the presence that is not a lecture but a rescue. God speaks to you with compassionate urgency. Your life will change when you answer this call. It will not be the same as before, in a way that is vivid and kind and deep. A door will open and what steps through will be for your highest good. Imagine a small box set before you, not of wood or metal but of luminous possibility. Within it is a single gift, clarity. For some, clarity will arrive as a release of confusion. Questions that have looped in your mind will settle like leaves in still water. For others, clarity will come as courage, the bravery to speak a truth you have tucked away for too long. For some, it will be a reconnection, a bridge to a person who once mattered that will mend gently and honestly. Whatever form it takes, it is tender and precise, delivered exactly where you need it. Do not make the mistake of thinking urgency equals panic. This is not fear-driven noise. Archangel Michael's urgency is that of a vigilant guardian who sees a narrow window opening and does not want it to close without you stepping through. The 45 minutes exist to gather your attention, to cut through the fog of daily life so you can receive a gift prepared specifically for you. If you delay, the timing may shift, not because God is harsh, but because the rhythm of life is delicate. Answering now aligns you with the flow of favor. Remember the small signs that have trailed you lately, a song that brings tears without knowing why, a scent that brings back a face, a sudden pulse of courage that comes and then slips away when you do nothing with it. Those tremors are entreaties. They are the soft hands of grace nudging you toward the center of your destiny. When you open, do so with trust. Even if your mind does not have all the explanations, your soul recognizes the language of love. Right now, as you read these words, speak softly, "I am ready to receive. Guide my steps, show me the truth, help me choose with love." Let those words be a simple key. You do not have to have everything figured out. The act of saying yes, even in a whisper, is what opens the channel. Archangel Michael bows in solemn, bright respect when a human heart says yes. There are practical threads to this moment as well, woven into the spiritual tapestry. Someone you have been waiting to hear from, or someone you've been avoiding, may call or appear unexpectedly. A small opportunity you thought was closed may reappear with new terms. A document, an envelope, a message will come to light. Pay attention to where you are and who is near you in the next 45 minutes. If possible, step away from distractions. Turn off background noise, sit with intention, and be ready. If you can't step away physically, step away in spirit. Turn inward and open a quiet space, a place of calm focus. Archangel Michael encourages you to choose compassion in your responses. Whatever arrives may not be perfect. It may demand humility, apologies, or a simple act of boldness. Meet it without armor, without sharpness. You will be surprised how quickly a soft, true response unravels fear and invites healing. Speak plainly. Hold no secrets in that moment that would keep you small. Do not be afraid of change. Change delivered by the good hand of God is an act of grace disguised as a challenge. It asks you to grow, to let go of worn-out definitions, to step into a truer version of yourself. Imagine a river in which you have waded for years. Today the current brings a new current alongside you, a stream of courage that can carry you to a wider place. Step with trust. If you cling to the old bank, you will miss the deeper water meant to carry you forward. There are also gentle warnings. If you are tempted to respond from old wounds, bitterness, retribution, or pride, stop. Take one more breath. Ask for clarity. Better a delayed, thoughtful answer than an immediate, reactive one. If someone arrives bearing news that shakes your ground yourself in the truth that you are loved and that God is bigger than any mistake, any shame, any fear presented to you. Archangel Michael says too, release the small things you carry as if they were heavy stones. Those stones are often judgments you've kept about yourself, accusations that were never yours to bear, and promises you made to fit into someone else's story. Let them fall. Imagine them slipping from your hands and dissolving into light. Lighter hands move faster. Lighter hearts hear better. You may feel an emotional flood. That's okay. Tears are holy. They are not a sign of weakness but of opening. Allow whatever comes to come, grief, relief, laughter. Each response is part of the healing. If words fail, let quietness be your voice. God hears silence as prayer when silence is surrendered in honesty. There is a promise folded into this urgency: protection. Archangel Michael stands with you not as an abstract idea but as a real presence. Picture him placing a hand on your shoulder, not to frighten you with grandeur but to steady you with courage. He whispers practical instructions: keep your heart honest, keep your hands open, keep your lips gentle. These small actions align you with divine favor. If you have been waiting for validation, know this: God sees your efforts, your small good deeds, the times you chose kindness when you could have chosen ease. Those moments are recorded in heaven's ledger and they matter. This present intervention is in part a reward for the quiet faithfulness you practiced when no one was watching. Be proud of that fidelity; it has led to this tender rescue. You might question your worthiness. If doubt comes, do not entertain it. Instead, repeat, I am loved, I am chosen, I am held. Claim that language. You do not have to earn the embrace; it is given. When Archangel Michael announces that a window is open, it is not because you were perfect, it is precisely because you are beloved in your imperfect wholeness. Act with gratitude. Gratitude is an amplifier of grace. When you open, say thank you. Not as a clipped phrase but as a deep bow of recognition that you were seen and that help finally arrived. Gratitude transforms ordinary moments into sacred milestones. For those who are carrying worry for others, let this be a release. Bring their names into your heart now and breathe them out with a prayer of peace. God is working in complex ways for many lives at once. Your faithful remembrance is a potent prayer. God will meet them, often through means you cannot foresee, through people who appear like ordinary helpers but carry extraordinary care. If regret has been your companion, this moment is an invitation to begin again. Beginments do not require grand proclamations. They require small, steady steps, a call placed, a letter sent, a truth spoken with calm. Make one such step within the next 45 minutes. It may be the step that bends your course toward joy. This window also asks that you forgive, not for the other person's sake alone but for your freedom. Forgiveness loosens the chains of the past and clears a path for what is to come. If you cannot yet forgive fully, then pray for the desire to forgive. Even that desire shifts the spiritual atmosphere. Archangel Michael reminds you, do not make your decisions out of scarcity. Decisions made from lack lead to more lack. Instead, choose from abundance, the knowledge that God provides, that your needs are seen, that provision can arrive in unexpected forms. Open your hands instead of clenching them. There may be a symbol you notice in the next minutes, a color, a number, a small object that seems to stand out of place. Pay attention to it. Symbols are often the language God uses to steady a fragile human heart. They are a kind of breadcrumb trail that leads you to what matters. If fear tries to convince you that this is superstition or that you should be cynical, remember how often the quiet nudges of the Spirit prove true in your life. Honor those earlier confirmations and allow them to guide you now. To say yes to this moment is not to abandon reason, it is to harmonize reason with the deep wisdom of the soul. Practical guidance for the next 45 minutes. Find a quiet place if you can. Even a single breath of focused prayer is enough. Speak the short prayer aloud if possible. Lord, show me what I must see. Give me courage to act in love. Open your heart to receive and your hands to give. If a decision appears, consider what action flows from love. Notice any messages on your phone, any sound at your door, any call you feel drawn to make. Do not dismiss those nudges. If emotions rise, let them flow. Cry, laugh, whisper, allow yourself to be human. These minutes are sacred because they are an intersection of heaven's timing and your readiness. Don't let this run-of-the-mill busyness steal the preciousness of this hour. After you act, reflect. Sit for a moment and record what happened. Small journals of response create a map of your spiritual life. Over time they reveal patterns, confirmations, and the gentle choreography of grace. If nothing overtly dramatic occurs in the next 45 minutes, do not mistake absence of spectacle for absence of movement. Often, the most critical changes begin as quiet alignments, a thought altered, a resolve strengthened. Watch for subtle shifts over the following days. The opening you create now can grow in fruitfulness in ways you will not immediately measure. Finally, beloved, know that you are not alone in this. The host of heaven stands ready to support you, and you are carried by love that does not sleep. Archangel Michael does not shout to frighten, he calls with firm, brave tenderness. He wants you to step into your fuller life with courage and with grace. Answer now. Archangel Michael says, 45 minutes left. Open immediately. Do not let this pass as another routine. Whether through silence, through speech, through tears, or through a small brave act, let your response be one of surrender to the good that is rushing toward you. You are chosen. You are held. You are about to be greeted by a mercy that knows you by name. Go now with humility, with courage, and with a gentle heart. You will be amazed by what happens when you simply decide to open. Listen with your whole heart. Not the half attention you give to things that distract you. Not the tired nod while your mind scrolls elsewhere. This is one of those moments that feels like a small pause in the middle of a busy day and turns out to be everything. Archangel Michael's voice comes not as thunder but as a focused beam of light that asks only one thing: answer. The clock in the spirit speaks in minutes, but what it measures is opportunity, the small window when what has been waiting to bless you lines up perfectly with what you are ready to receive. Breathe. Be still. Imagine a gentle hand on your shoulder that steadies you. That hand has been there before you noticed it. It has kept you from falling when you didn't see the edge. The reason this moment is urgent is not to frighten you but to wake what is asleep inside you: hope, faith, readiness. The world has been loud. Faith is quiet. In the next 45 minutes, something subtle may shift. A door that has been closed begins to open, a message arrives, a meeting turns into a turning point. It can be small in appearance but enormous in meaning. Treat it like the key it is. God speaks in many languages. Sometimes it is a thought that slips into your head with the clarity of a star. Sometimes it's a feeling that loosens the knot in your chest. Sometimes it is a person who shows up with the exact words you needed. Sometimes it is silence that makes room for truth. Archangel Michael urges you, do not skip the small thing that looks unimportant. Open the message that seems odd. Answer the call that frays your schedule. Put down the phone for one sincere minute and listen. This is not about being dramatic, it's about being obedient to a quiet, loving summons. Rewind a little. Remember the times when you almost missed something wonderful because you were late, distracted, or skeptical. Think of one small miracle in your life that came when you paid attention. Remember how later you said, "I don't know how that happened," and then realized it happened because you chose to show up. That pattern is the same now but louder because the stakes feel higher to the heart. Michael doesn't bark orders. He points you to alignment. God doesn't threaten, God invites. The urgency is a kindness, time is a teacher, and when it calls you by the minute, it's asking you to rise and meet your destiny. There is also tenderness here. God knows the fragility in you. God sees the places where you have been hurt, where you have learned to protect yourself by ignoring gentle urgings. This message is the opposite of punishment. It is a loving insistence: open, receive, accept. The words, "Don't hurt God to skip," are not meant to burden you with guilt. They are meant to remind you of relationship. You are not alone in the unseen. You are not a solitary traveler. When you bypass the invitation, something important stays locked, sometimes a blessing, sometimes a healing, sometimes a truth that would have saved you confusion later. The pain of missing an appointment with the divine is not a punishment, it's the quiet sorrow of an offering refused. Now imagine light like warm water pouring into the spaces in you that are thirsty. Feel it move slowly into your chest, your hands, your eyes. As it moves, things inside you align, not by force but by resonance. Old fear softens. Old shame lifts like morning fog in the sun. What was tangled begins to straighten. Archangel Michael wants you to see that this is not a one-time emergency so much as an initiation. A timetable has been given, 45 minutes, and you have the freedom to treat it as a literal clock or a sacred prompt. Either way, do not treat it as ordinary. If your mind resists, if it says this is superstition or coincidence, let the resistance pass and act anyway. Faith is often like a muscle that grows when you use it. Try a small practice now. Close your eyes, place a hand over your heart, whisper 3 words that feel true: I am open. Say them slowly and mean them. Feel the rhythm of your breath. In that small act you align with a stream of grace that has been moving toward you. You will notice that your intuition sharpens, you remember the person you meant to call, a connection appears, or a sentence in a book you randomly open becomes exactly what you needed. The universe does not always speak with fireworks. Sometimes it nudges with a feather that contains a compass. There may be fear underneath the reluctance to open. That fear sounds like, what if it's disappointing? What if this is another false alarm? What if I will be asked to change? Trust is built by small acts of courage. You do not have to leap into the abyss. You simply need to take the small step of noticing. Answer the call. Open the message. Read the email with an expectant heart. Say yes to a coffee invitation you might usually decline. The result might be a quiet rearrangement of your life toward what is truer for you. Do not misunderstand the gentle severity of Michael's presence. He does not threaten. He protects. He shows you where darkness has seeped in, not to shame but to clear. In the next 45 minutes, you might be shown a simple truth about a relationship, about money, about a choice that has been looping in your mind. This truth is not necessarily a verdict, often it is a map. Maps do not judge, they guide. The guidance asks you to put down what is heavy and pick up something that feels lighter. Choose light when you can. If the message you receive asks you to forgive, know that forgiveness is a door that opens the future. Forgiveness does not erase the past, it frees you from carrying it forward. If it asks you to speak your truth, know your voice matters. If it asks you to retreat, to rest, or to stay, honor that. Divine messages will not always tell you to act in the way the world defines as productive. Sometimes the highest productivity is rest, presence, and the courage to say, I will wait. Let God's timing be your teacher. Practice humility in how you receive. Humility here is not humiliation. It is an openness to be surprised by goodness. It is the honest admission, I don't have all the answers, I am open to help. This opens channels you couldn't have opened alone. The moment you accept that you are beloved rather than merely responsible, something shifts structurally in how blessings are delivered. Archangel Michael's demand, answer, comes from this structural change. He's not asking you to prove your worth. He's asking you to acknowledge what is already true. Do a practical thing now. If there is a sermon, a meditation, a small text message that arrived recently and you brushed off, go back and read it. If a thought has been nudging you, write it down. If a person's face came into your mind, reach out. This minute now counts. These small practical actions align with the spiritual rhythm. If you are skeptical about spiritual signs, treat them like white envelopes marked possible. Open them. You may find a note that changes your day. You might be worried about appearances. What will others think if you listen to an inner prompting and change course? Let this concern be small compared to the needs of your soul. The world will always have opinions. Your inner life requires your attention more than the world's applause. Archangel Michael looks at your heart, not your image. God's timetable does not bow to public opinion. Allow your life to be guided by inner truth, and notice how outer circumstances begin to realign. There is a communal dimension as well. Sometimes what comes to you in a moment of obedience affects more than yourself. A reconciliation you step into might soothe a generational knot. A generosity you accept might become a seed that feeds others. A decision to stay or to go can alter the trajectory of people connected to you in ways you cannot yet see. The invitation to open is an invitation to participate in a greater current of repair and blessing. Do not underestimate that. If you are weary from failure or mistakes, do not let that stop you. God's voice comes alongside the fragments and promises a way to assemble them anew. The next 45 minutes may not erase old messes, but it can start a new stitch in the cloth. Listen closely, this is for you alone. God is calling you right now. Archangel Michael stands beside the door of your heart, hands folded, eyes steady, and he is urging you with a deep, urgent love. 45 minutes. 45 minutes to pause the noise, breathe, and open what you have been closing for too long. Don't skip this. Don't let distraction steal what is being handed to you in this sacred moment. Feel the hush fall around you like a warm blanket. Everything that clamors for your attention can wait, every notification, every worry, every small emergency that never truly needed your full presence. Right now is different. This is a door that will not knock again the same way. There is something unexpected on its way, not to harm you, but to shift the ground beneath your feet in the kindest possible direction. God is reaching. Archangel Michael is guiding. Trust the gravity of this hour. God says you are safe. Say those words out loud if you can, I am safe. Let them settle into your bones. You have been carrying fears and scenarios like heavy stones, imagining outcomes and rehearsing impossibilities. God says, put the stones down. Rest in the truth that a benevolent presence walks with you. The divine is not distant, the divine leans close enough to whisper right into the soft places of your spirit. When doubt tugs at you, remember that this whisper is real and it is for you. Right now, in these next minutes, make room. Find a quiet place. Sit or stand, whichever helps you feel steady. Close your eyes if that feels right. Draw 3 deep breaths, in slowly through your nose, hold just a heartbeat, then release through your mouth. With each exhale, imagine the weight of worry leaving your shoulders. With each inhale, feel a gentle warmth filling your chest, like sunlight on a cool morning. This tiny practice is not trivial. It opens a channel. It tells your body and heart, I am ready to receive. Listen for the small voice, the one that is not frantic, not loud, but firm and clear. Archangel Michael says, you have been hesitant, because of the past, because of people who taught you that trusting is dangerous. But God says, not all risk is loss. There are divine pivots that look like leaps. There are moments when your faith is the hinge that changes everything. This is one of them. You might be thinking, what if I'm imagining this? What if this is just my heart wanting comfort? God says, wonder and skepticism can coexist. Bring both. Let your heart feel what it feels and let your reason listen. The divine does not demand that you surrender your mind, it asks only that you surrender the false narratives that have kept you small. Let go of, I'm not worthy, I missed my chance, it's too late. Those thoughts are not from God. Replace them with what God is whispering now, it is not too late for what matters. I see you. I am weaving what you cannot yet see. There is a gentle urgency because something is shifting in your favor, maybe not in the way you have sketched in your head, but in a way that will open doors you could not have forced open. Pay attention to the small signals, a message, a memory that returns, a face in a crowd that seems familiar for no reason. These are not accidents. They are breadcrumbs. Follow them patiently. If you are being asked to forgive, to speak, to step forward, or to let go, do so with the knowledge that God's hand steadies yours. Archangel Michael reminds you to speak the truth quietly and firmly. If you have been hiding a part of yourself, your gift, your grief, your dream, God says, reveal it gently. You do not have to shout. You do not have to make a spectacle. A quiet offering of who you are will be heard by the right ears. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is moving forward in spite of it. Let your courage be guided by love, not by pressure. Love will show you where to place your foot next. If your heart has been burdened by relationships that drain you, God is calling you to clarity. Not every tie is meant to be cut, and not every closeness is meant to remain. Ask God for discernment. Pray, show me what to keep and what to release. Then listen. You will receive signs, sometimes in other people's words, sometimes in how your body responds when you imagine different futures. Pay attention to peace. Peace is a divine compass. If the choice you consider brings a measurable, steady peace, it is likely aligned with the light. God speaks a blessing over your finances, your work, and your purpose. Do not be surprised if an unexpected opportunity appears, small at first, then growing. Opportunities are not always dramatic. Often they arrive as steady doors that you are asked to open day by day. See them. Tend them. Treat every small step like prayer, intentional, grateful, and honest. A humble action taken with faith is more powerful than grand gestures done in fear. You might be feeling worn from carrying other people's expectations. God says, be honest with them and with yourself. You do not need to perform to be loved. Your worth is inherent. Say these words often, I am beloved by God. Let them ring in your ears until the lie that used to define you loses its power. When the world tells you to prove your value, turn your heart to the quiet assurance within. Let that assurance be your anchor. If grief has a hold on your days, allow it to breathe. God holds your sorrow tenderly. You are not being asked to hurry past it. Instead, invite God to sit with it. Invite Archangel Michael to stand guard while you mourn. Grief is not failure, it is evidence of love. Where grief lives, blessing can also be sown. In time, sorrow will soften into gratitude for what was and hope for what will be. But you are free to seek help now, a friend, a counselor, a spiritual companion. Asking for help is a brave, divine-aligned act. God desires for you to forgive, and forgiveness is for you first. It frees your hands, your heart, your future. Forgiveness does not erase what happened, it steadies you to walk forward unshackled. If you are not ready, pray for the grace to move toward it. Even small steps, a prayer, a breath, a whispered name, shift the energy around you. You are not expected to perform miracles alone. Let the divine do the heavy lifting alongside you. Archangel Michael places his sword of clarity not as a weapon but as a tool to cut through confusion. Ask for clarity in decisions that gnaw at you. Ask for wisdom about where to invest your time and how to speak your truth with gentleness. God loves practical prayers, simple requests like, show me the next step, or give me courage to call them, or help me see the truth. Be specific. God loves specific invitations because they align your will with the divine will. Right now, if there is a relationship you need to mend, speak honestly. If there is a boundary you must set, do it with kindness and firmness. If there is a dream you have been ashamed to name, whisper it to God today. Archangel Michael is with you when you take these steps. He breathes steady courage into your lungs. He will not do the speaking for you, but he will stand beside you as you speak. God reminds you of your gifts, not to puff you up but to remind you that the world needs what you carry. You have a voice that soothes, hands that heal, a mind that imagines, a presence that steadies others. These gifts were given to be used. Do not tuck them away because of fear of judgment. Start small. Let your offering be genuine and humble. Watch how the world responds when you bring your true self forward. There is also a promise in this hour: protection. You are watched over. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of your path. If you have felt exposed or alone, hear this as a balm: you are being protected. This protection does not mean life will be without challenge. It means you will not be abandoned in your challenges. The divine presence escorts you through what you must face and opens surprising ways to move beyond. God is asking you to pray, not as a ritual, but as an active turning toward the heart of the divine. Pray with breath, with tears, with gratitude, with quiet center. Prayers need not be ornate. Say what you need with simple language. Try this prayer now, out loud or in your mind: God, I open my heart to you. Show me what I need to see. Give me courage to act with love. Help me trust your timing. Wait after the prayer. Even 5 quiet, expectant seconds allows God to meet you. There may be a small practical thing you are being led to do in the next 45 minutes, an email to send, a phone call to make, a piece of paper to sign, a cup of kindness to offer. Do it. These small obediences are the scaffolding for larger transformations. Think of each action as a prayer manifested. Do it with intention and a soft heart. If fear arises, as it likely will, name it. Speak it to God: I am afraid, because naming fear reduces its power. Then ask for courage. Ask for a clear heart. Archangel Michael will steady you. The fear will not vanish like a puff of smoke, but it will be met with a greater presence. You can move forward even with fear as your companion. Expect a